Sundays are fun days at Zamboni's on 7th Restaurant and Bar. They love hockey, they love St. Paul, and they love bingo. Their charitable gambling sponsors are St. Paul Capitals Youth Hockey, and they've partnered with them for Sunday bingo with great cash prizes, including a $1,000 coverall game. Take advantage of free street parking on Sundays and stop in for great food and drink, cash prizes, and of course, THC raffles during Zamboni's on 7th, Wake and Bake, and Smash Mouth Pizza Brunch Bingo Sundays. Come get it.
What's going on, everybody? Sweet new intro sponsor there from Zamboni's on 7. Pretty dope. Brett Marshall, Isha Jerome back with you for another episode of Wildly Informed. Unfortunately, this one not going to be probably as upbeat as the last one. Wild lost every game since we last recorded, so we'll take some looks into what's potentially wrong with this team, if luck can turn around, all that good stuff. But as we always do, got to check in with Isha, see how it's going. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Good. I mean, other than watching the Wild play hockey, and then I'm like, okay, maybe the Canucks will bring me some joy. Then I have to watch the Canucks play hockey like 2 hours after. Thank goodness I was living in the United States, because most of Canada wasn't able to watch the World Series or Canucks or anything other than, funny enough, the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild last night due to Sportsnet crashing due to all the traffic for the World Series. And my friend was like, he's texting me, he's like, I could give two shits about baseball. I just want to watch the fucking Canucks right now. And I can't. The only game I can watch on TSN is Winnipeg Wild. I'm like, that's so funny, because I don't think I've ever seen like Winnipeg on TSN, because I've always just lived out west. So.
Yeah.
My mind was a little bit of a pretzel last night. My buddy texted me stuff about the Wild, but yeah. So I mean, things could be better, Brett. We're still smiling because we have fun podcasting, but it would be nice to have like at least one game where we could be like, all right, we got it done. They got it done. There's some good, and you can argue that the last game there was some good as well. Like scary start, and it was kind of like eye rolling. Here we go again. But honestly, I think the Wild overall were the better team. Just I don't know what is wrong. The hockey gods just struck them again. But we'll get into all that and more. But yeah, we're nearing that. Before I pass the mic back to you, we're nearing that American Thanksgiving bar where Bob McKenzie says, like, you still have runway realistically, and then it's a lot harder and near impossible after that to get back to where you want to be, especially in this division.
They got about 3.5, 4 weeks for that to be the benchmark. So yeah, it'll be interesting with where this team ends up, because it's not like egregiously bad in some areas, but I think to something we kind of talked about last week, and that those little errors like just seem to magnify and repeat like game after game after game after game. And it's like it feels like a small problem, but it's like turning into a bigger problem.
Well, it's like not, I don't want to say everybody, but it's like 80% of the team where it's just like and Z mentioned this on Fellowship Link. I've been on every single show this week. I've been bouncing around every single show, filling in for Hoppy. On Judd's Buds, he was saying that when it's one or two guys, one guy in the top six, one guy in the bottom six, one or two defensemen, you can deal with that. When it's like 80% of the team who are just kind of in a funk and can't put together even 2 full periods, it's like, and now you're dealing with injuries, it's like, man. So.
Yeah. So there's a lot to worry about, but maybe some things to look forward to. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Maybe the adversity, maybe this is just the adversity. They're getting it over with early, right, and then it's just going to be smooth sailings, and we're going to see some other like teams who came out of the gate hot just plummet. I mean, 82 games is a long season, and you said 3 to 4 weeks. That's still a lot of time. That's essentially, we're at the halfway point of the first and arguably most important part of the season.
Yeah, and I think there's still time, and we'll see what happens. Getting in now to our hockey headlines, a couple pretty big extensions, both within the Central Division. The first, Logan Cooley in Utah extended $8 by $10 million. So Utah likes what they've seen. Hard to not after the stretch that he's been on as of late, playing some really good hockey there for the Mammoth. But really betting on his upside, and I think for them that's the right move.
Yeah, and I mean he kind of. I didn't see him holding out for an extension like the whole season, but I think he's made a statement in the last few games.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Also getting the money dealt out, Thomas Harley of the Dallas Stars. He has extended 8 by $10.587 million. Pretty big bucks for a number 2, but again, I think pretty worth it. I think he's the number 1 defenseman on all but maybe 5 to 10 teams in the league. Like he's that good. He might be better than Heiskanen at this point.
It's like what a like developmental machine there. Like Dallas is every like cycle, so every like 2-3 years, there's a legit defenseman in the pipeline, and then every 4 years, one just pops up and becomes a superstar.
Yeah, well, not just even like on the blue line, like even up front too, with guys like, I'm totally blanking here. I like Wyatt Johnston. I think he was like a second round pick.
Late first, but yeah.
And then Jason Robertson was a second. You had, I'm pretty sure Harley was a second. I know
we're going back a while, but like Rupe Hintz was a second.
Yeah, Hintz was a second. Yeah, I'm just trying to, Maverick Bork they've hit on. Like they just don't seem to miss. Obviously, in goal, they took a shot on Jake Ottinger. Like he's developed into a legit piece. Nils Lundqvist. Like they got a lot of really good young players, and I'd like to know how they develop, because Wild maybe use a little bit of that.
Yeah. I just have to mention Adam Ernie is on the Dallas Stars team, and he's quietly played so many years in the National Hockey League. He was one of those guys that like I want to say, but I haven't owned like a gaming console in a while, but between 2011 and like 2018, he always like, it's like the game just believed in him more than any organization, because he always would like hit like 85 eventually if you just had him in your system. And I mean, hey, the game knew it was up. He's still in the league.
Yeah,
that's the name. I'm like, damn, I've seen that game more in the video game than I have like on the score sheet.
Yeah, 386 career games, began in 2016. So
wow.
But yeah, I totally agree. I feel like that's definitely like same here.
Yeah,
like seeing him all over the place. Let's see. We'll go injuries last. So next one up, Nikita Kucherov, one of the greatest players of our generation, just hit the 1,000-point mark this past week. Like unbelievable career,
and he's still humming. Like he's got a lot more left in him.
In an era where like McDavid and Austin Matthews and like those types of superstars have kind of like run the league. Like Kucherov's been right in that mix like year in and year out.
Well, I would argue that Kucherov's been running the league more than an Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
One of them's got rings, one of them doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, 32 years old and still just absolutely elite.
Dude, like these are McDavid numbers. Like I feel like when we talk about the top guys, it's like he has to be up there in like the Draisaitl McDavid conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean, 44 points 2 years ago.
113, like, 144, 121 back to back. Not a big deal. Not to mention, I mean, obviously he didn't play the year where he won the second Stanley Cup, but made up for that and showed everyone, I'm good. 32 points in the
number one bullshit.
Yeah. It was awesome that Joe Smith had some great sound bites with him too.
Yeah. So yeah, congrats to Kucherov.
Honestly, man, I tell this story. I probably will tell it again on this podcast someday. But one of my good friends who I started the Hockey Podcast Network with, brilliant hockey mind as well. Way more than me. He saw this guy early. Like he saw this guy and he didn't even watch too much of the Q. He just watched some Syracuse and he was like, oh dude, he's going to be something else. And I was like, oh no, man, Palat's going to be way better. And Palat turned out to be a great player in his own right? But like, I don't know, my friend he's like, there's just something about this guy. I got to give credit to my boy Dylan. He called it from the beginning. And I would say even in the beginning, he was out of when the triplets line kind of came out when Tampa just started to...
Triplets line was sick.
Yeah, to become that dynasty team. I feel like he was like the third string at first. And then he just like graduated to the top line and was like, no, we don't need a triplets line. I am the top player on this team.
Yeah, he's really taken over and been an absolutely huge part of their success. And I don't know how many career points he finishes with, but I don't think he's over halfway there. But I think he's still got a lot of good years left to continue to rack up those point totals as well. Already over a point per game again to start this year at age 32, so still humming.
Yeah, I could see another like 400 or 500.
Yeah, that would not. I don't think that would surprise me in the slightest. Anything else in Kucherov before we move on to injuries?
No, I think I was trying to like get the clips of Joe quick, but they're all long and whatever.
Yeah.
We'll play them when he reaches another milestone. I'll make sure to have the Joe Smith clips with him.
There we go.
Loaded.
There we go. So some notable injuries around the league. Ricard Raquel of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Wild's next opponent tomorrow night, out 6 to 8 weeks after left hand surgery. He's kind of just been one of those like just good top 6 forwards, like nothing special, nothing fancy, but like consistently produces like good complementary type of winger, like kind of like a Jason Zucker type, like prime Zucker. Like that's kind of the way I feel.
He's been a good goal scorer everywhere he's gone, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's been mostly, I think, in Pittsburgh and Anaheim, if memory serves.
Yeah, mostly in Anaheim, and that's where I think he put up 69 points one year in Anaheim. He put up 60 points in Pittsburgh too. Yeah,
on some pretty bad
last year. Fuck.
Yeah, some bad Anaheim teams at that too.
True. I didn't even realize he put up 70 points last year. What the hell? All right, yeah. That's a big loss then for them already with 8 points.
Yeah, so he's been a huge part of there because I think they're off to a 7-2-2 start.
Dude, it's crazy.
Malkin and Crosby just like look like they're prime versions of themselves right now.
Well, bro, we got to talk about who's third in scoring on the team too with 12 points, 6 goals, Mr. Justin Brazeau.
Yeah, amazing what happens when you put a guy who's like good with his hands and in scoring situations. Like put him in that situation and he scores instead of like sticking him on the fourth line.
Murat, not necessarily winning with the Boston Bruins, but like heart and soul of the team, instant fan favorite, jersey selling off the shelf. So sick.
Is it actually?
Z said he's like one of the most popular. Like he's very much like. There's just something about that guy. You could call it aura. The kids call it that. I feel like wherever he goes, like the fans are just like, oh, like he may not score it. It's frustrating, but like he's trying out there and he's doing it, and he's actually pretty good defensively. And apparently Z is like he is not the problem for the Boston Bruins right now.
All right, yeah. Cool. Well, that's good to hear for him. Like I'm hoping it works out for him. Like we always liked him here in Minnesota, but another trade that, sometimes it don't work out. This is a pretty big loss here. The Nashville Predators are going to be without Roman Josi, who's out week to week with an upper body injury. I don't think
it could be worse.
A great start either, but
could be worse.
Yeah, not good week to week there for Roman Josi, who's been long one of the best defensemen in the NHL.
Bro, I feel like Nashville Predators just shot themselves in the foot with their rookie camp community outreach slogan. Did you hear that?
I don't.
Oh my god, dude! They
maybe.
So their slogan, and bless their soul for like helping the community out. But yeah, they sent all like the rookies into the community with T-shirts saying "Preds in the community."
Oh, yeah. Oh no.
I feel like that was some bad juju off the start. So I ran with that for the thumbnail and had like Chris Hansen like poking in like the thumbnail while like this one kid's like, or this one young players hanging out with some anyways. It was some good summer content, let's just say that. So
yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. Oh no.
I tried to get a t-shirt as soon as I could, but the store instantly closed once
whoops.
Once everybody started talking about it. But anyways.
That's great.
Yeah. Only in the NHL, right?
Yes.
It's such an NHL thing to do, but anyways.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's so I'm so happy like that you got to see it for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that over the summer. Let's see. Patrick Laine, who hated the Wild and is now playing on the fourth line for Montreal, will be out 3 to 4 months.
Dude, he just cannot catch a break, man. Every year he gets hurt. Every year he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's even a hard-nosed player. Like, how is he hurting himself?
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of just like coasts around except when the puck's on his stick. So, yeah, how he's hurt beyond me. But yeah, so pretty big loss for them. I don't know. He's like I said, he's playing on their fourth line, but they're off. I think they're leading that division right now. Like they're off to a terrific start, and I think there's some really good analytics around as well for some of their defensemen for how they're playing and winning puck battles and stuff. So good to see. Like Montreal is a rocking building, and I love when they're good because it's just a fun atmosphere to watch teams play in.
Yeah, I mean, and even though he was playing like further down their lineup, it was working, and now some things are gonna have to be shooken up a little bit. Man, at only 27, because I guess he did come in the league right away. But yeah, he's been bruised and battered. He's one of those that like I don't know how long into his 30s he goes, and we'll just see what his production continues.
Yeah, because he's just never, or not right now, like the player he used to be, and probably as his injuries continue, becomes less than likely that he will get there.
You remember like how like when he touched the puck, it was like, oh dude, he's just darting to his spot and it's like a goal every single time. That was for like 3 straight years. It was nuts.
Yeah. And then last piece of news here, you can probably speak to this in a little bit more. Your Canucks have acquired forward Lucas Reichel from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for a 4th round pick, I think in like 2027. He was drafted 17th overall by the Hawks in 2020, so the Marco Rossi draft. So taking a swing on a 1st round pick, never a bad idea. At least I don't think so. It sounds like with all the injuries that they have right now, he's probably going to get an opportunity to play. Yeah,
it's a decent lottery ticket, I'd say. The Canucks are in free fall right now, it feels like. Not like, I mean, their roster took a hit with more than just, I guess, on ice play. And I guess, the Wild fans are privy to that as well with like, the old boys club before kind of the new regime, shook things up and Parise and Sota were shipped out or like the buyouts anyways and whatnot. But Vancouver Canucks did still have expectations, and with injuries and how they're like Pettersson's still not doing his thing and Hughes struggling, it's just been a tough going for them. And I was joking like, we're friends. I'm friends, and he's friend of the channel as well. With Joseph LeBay, he's a Minnesota guy. Been more of an AHL player. Spent some time in the KHL. But we were stoked. He got called up and he got a game. He's probably gonna need a couple more. And I was texting my buddy. He's just like, yeah, man. He's like, love Joe LeBay. Everyone in Abbotsford loves him right now too. He's like, but when you're calling up this many guys right now this early, he's like, that's not a good thing. And I was like, no. So like you said, if they can pick up a guy for a 4th round pick who was drafted high, who maybe there's some untapped, skill there just to fill in a spot right now and maybe surprise them. Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. This is from Adam Kierzenblatt on X. The Canucks will most likely be missing Quinn Hughes, Connor Garland, Nils Höglander, Derek Forbort, Teddy Bluger, Philip Hedl, Jonathan Lecker-Amaki, and Victor Mancini. That's half their team. That's half their fucking team, boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it is 9 skaters. So literally half the team. And Pettersson's a ghost. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood has been their superstar. 6 goals, no assists, just 6 goals. He's just like, give me the puck, I'm gonna score. I mean, he's gonna get paid next year. I don't know with who. And Trav, I see your comment. Honestly, I haven't read the article yet, but I've been seeing the news pop out. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. So we'll do our homework and bring that story up next week in regards to Ryan Kesler. Yeah, I've read into it, but yeah, it's pretty screwed up. So yeah, not great. Yeah. So and then the Wild, of course, get Vancouver here on Saturday. So I don't know. If they don't beat them, what did I say on Twitter? This team's not even worth watching. We are literally going to become the Iowa Wild analytic podcast for the rest of the season until the boys shaping up. Literally. They're going in timeout. Well, and Wild fans no stranger. I mean, there were times where I think they were playing without 9 guys before, so you have to work through it. Yeah, but the Wild at least have some good prospects. Like Lecker-Amaki is Vancouver's prospect, right? From the same draft as Ogren, right? I believe so. Yeah. There's some decent guys in Abbotsford, and again, stoked Joseph LeBay gets some time because I think he's like point per game in the AHL right now, anyway. So yeah, so be interesting opponent there. Any other one more headline Wild related here? Mikey Milne was medically cleared from his offseason injury. Good to return to play here. So pick him up, Vancouver. Let's go, Vancouver. So he will be placed on waivers as if he clears, he'll be sent to Iowa. So we will see. I mean, hey, if Vancouver picks him up and he literally dresses for an NHL game against the Wild, would be hilarious. At least, like, honestly, I bet everybody writing, Jesse, Joe, all of our friends would be like, okay, we got something to write about. Thank God. Something a little bit different.
Yeah, because it could be a snooze fest, that game too, potentially. You never know. So I think that's it for our hockey headlines. Up next, a couple topics that I want to get to in the analytics agenda. First being the Minnesota Wild's team defense, which just has been uncharacteristically bad to start the season, especially in the high danger chance against department. So on the screen here, for those watching, listening, we have a chart of just kind of what the Wild's 5v5 stats kind of look like across the board, going back to the previous two seasons, so 23 through 25, which is essentially the duration that John Hines has been the coach, outside of the, I think, beginning start to like the 22-23 season or 23-24 season. So the Wild in that first 2-year stretch, 2.34 goals against per 60, like that was 10th best in the NHL. Pretty solid. This year that's risen up to 2.77. And I wanted to kind of look into what is causing that. They're actually improving their shot share. So they've gone up from 46.68% to 50%. So 22nd to 19th. Smaller sample size to work with, but they are shooting the puck seemingly a little bit more than years past. Their expected goal share, 50.15 of the last two seasons, 48.1% this season. So 2% difference there, but they rank in the NHL 17th, 19th. Not a big disparity there, but then you go where things really start to stick out is in those high danger chances against. Previous two seasons, Minnesota allowing 9.61 at 5-on-5 per 60 minutes. Like very, very good. Third best in the league. This year, that has shot up to 13.85 through these first 11 games. That is third worst in the league, 30th overall. So you're looking at, in that number alone, almost 4 high danger shots more per 60 minutes at 5-on-5 that they're giving up. And that's going to take a toll on your goalies. We've just like a lot of it's been on some of these turnovers and stuff that we're seeing. But to me, that was the year that really stood out, as this team has been historically stingy. The last two seasons, 2023-24 through 24-25, just 3 total games where they allowed more than 20 high danger chances in a game. And this year they've done that already twice. So three times in the past 2 seasons where they gave up more than 20 chances, 2 times already through 11 games this season. I think it's actually twice in the last 7 games. Well, so just leaking a lot more of their chances. And like, I don't want to say it's a Bouillon and Jiricek issue, because I actually think they've been, like, it's been by committee that this has been bad.
Yeah, and there's going to be growing pains, but like, you can't just blame them. And this is another, like, that stat that you just brought up, that kind of shows that, like, you can't just pin it all on the goalies when, like, they are just, like, they're getting peppered every single night with strong chances.
Yeah, and I believe all 5 goals against Wallstedt, when they were playing San Jose, were all high danger chances. He was 11 for 12 in his first 2 starts on those, and then was 7 for 12 in that single game. Like, eventually those are going to go in. Those are the high danger areas, and the Wild that just have not been as good at defending that area of the ice, and it's caused some problems for him.
Yeah,
and a big piece of this, I think, is this next topic on top. It's Jared Spurgeon. And those who have listened to this show, as listened to my shows in the past, have followed me on Twitter, know that I am one of the loudest people out there for how good Jared Spurgeon is. He's been a premier shutdown defenseman for this team for a really long time. So what I wanted to do was just kind of pull up similar stats we're just looking at on a team scale, and then pull in Jared Spurgeon's as well. So his time on ice, he's getting actually a little bit more ice time than he has across the previous 2 seasons at 5-on-5, 17.05. But I do wonder, with him now being more off the power play, or off that top unit, maybe some of those minutes are going into his 5-on-5 play versus on the power play. This is one of the most jaw-dropping stats I think that I'll look into. He has been incredibly unlucky in the goals for, goals against, like the most raw way you can look at it. Previous 2 seasons, among 214 defensemen, he was 100 that played at least 1,000 minutes. He was 105th in goals for per 60 minutes, 2.45, like a pretty middle of the road number, nothing good, nothing bad. Goals against 1.97, which was 27th best in the NHL. Now, if we fast forward to this season, there are 117 defensemen who have played at least 150 minutes. Spurgeon ranks 117 out of 117 in goals for per 60, just 0.64. goals per 60 right now, despite having expected goals for per 60 minutes of 2.77. So you're looking at 2.13 fewer goals than what he's expected with the Wild score with him on the ice. And that's gone likewise on the goals against side. 4.15 goals against per 60 minutes against Spurgeon this season. That's 115th out of 117 defensemen in terms of the goals that he's given up, despite the expected goals against being only 2.9. So still a pretty big disparity there. Now, the numbers under the hood, like this is what I really want to dig into because he's been a minus player. I think the Wild are getting outscored. I believe it's 18-3 in his even strength minutes. Like I think that would make him like a minus 15 on the season through 11 games. It doesn't look right. So I was wondering like what the numbers look like under the hood. And we have seen a little bit of a dip here as well. I had the 13th best expected goal share last season among defensemen, 55.7%. That's dropped down to 48.8% this season. And again, the high danger chance is a big problem for Spurgeon here as well. Last two seasons, 8.07 high danger chances against Spurgeon per 60 minutes. That was the best of any defenseman in the NHL over the last 2 years. He is now 107th out of 117 with 15.32 high danger chances against per 60 minutes. So up basically 7 more per 60 minutes of ice time. So I think that's a big contributing factor. That goal's going way up, but I think if you look at kind of this Wild's defensive struggle, I think a big part of this has been Jared Spurgeon getting off to kind of this slow start, not only not playing as well as he previously has, but also seemingly paying for it more than he should. Again, we're talking about those errors just amplifying here as they go through the struggle. But, I think at this point it is something I'm a little concerned about given his age, but I still do think there will be some positive regression for those numbers to maybe come back a little bit more toward the average. Over the last year, the player with the highest goals for per 60, I think was like 3.5. So that number will drop. And the goals for, I think, was all the way up at 1.7 or something. So it'll come back, but just a rough start here for the Wild captain.
Yeah, and it's one of his like most drastic low starts in his entire career. Like this is a career low start for Spurgeon. So it's like, even if it is an age thing or whatever, like you said, it's gonna even out a little bit before like it eventually declines. It's just kind of shocking to see it like start at the bottom, right? And then seeing it even out. Cause I mean, I know like plus minus is whatever, especially when we're going into stats like this, but like he's usually a plus player every single year. I don't think he's ever even been close to like a minus 12, when all said is and done throughout at the end of a season, right? So Z was also pointing out that, and again, this is a little out of character for Spurgeon, but maybe it's just affecting him more than ever this year, is just the revolving doors of guys he's having to play with. Absolutely. Usually, like, he can play with Middleton, he can play with a Faber, he usually can play with anybody, but because of now Middleton and Faber just not playing well together, when that gets shuffled, maybe it's just tougher for Spurgeon right now, and then that also throws Boehm and Juracek together, and then they, then they're both having growing pains, and again, like, these aren't excuses. These are just things that Z was pointing out as well, which just could be factors where like usually it wouldn't matter, and maybe that's why the Wild were like, hey, even if there are growing pains, at least we know Spurgeon can play with everyone. And right now it's like, oh, even he's taking the brunt of this, as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a structure thing too. I mean, you look at some of these. I don't know the exact plays, but like Kirill Kaprizov has turned pucks over like crazy lately. And if those pucks end up in the back of the net with the defenseman having little influence, that's not always necessarily the defenseman's fault. So like analytics are one thing, but like to me, the eye tests, I feel like align more actually with what the analytics say, in the sense that he's getting scored on a lot, but it doesn't feel like he's necessarily making more mistakes or getting outworked or some of those things. So
being slow. Like if you'd have told me, towards the end of his career, it's like, well, he doesn't look like it right now. It's just like he looks like every other defenseman on this team, like turning pucks over, getting shell shocked with shots, and just unable to break up cycles in their own zone.
Yeah. So I think it'll come around. I think as they continue to, hopefully, I thought him and Middleton actually had a pretty solid game last night. I think they were -2, but like if you look at their stats when they were on the ice, like they were controlling play quite a bit. They were actually helping to create some quite a bit of offense as well. So
dude,
like,
that
that's
fight
a
for
step in the
Middleton
right direction.
got them going too. Like you could see even just like Boldy, for example, on the bench was like jumping up and down, getting right into it. And, you know, like it wasn't a bad opportunity for him to fight there. He took it. You could see that like he kind of maybe needed to exercise some demons as well. It wasn't the like most exciting fight, but like he was passionate about it. And you could see the team was like fired up as well. And, you know, like honestly, man, and this goes beyond the analytics, but like anything to help them right now. If one of the guys has to go out there and just throw hands, you know, it's not like Milton's helping them that much anyways when he's been on the ice. Better game last night. But if they got to throw some hands to get this team going, like, let's go.
Yeah, and I think like to your point, like last night, I thought the team as a whole played a really good game. And like I'm not one to blame goaltending super often, but that's the game with the Wild. Everybody in front of Gus played well enough for the Wild to win. And
if the bus was rolling, if the bus was rolling, that one was there.
Goals. Yeah, I think he gave up 4. I think his expected goals against in that game was like 2.5.
The first two were rough, man, especially so early. It was just like, oh man, it's like I know you can recover, but because we've seen it, but like not again.
Yeah, well, and then to your point, like the goals coming quick, that kind of brings us into our a perfect transition into our Puck Your Opinion section.
I just want to say, Puck Your Opinion.
So Russo had put out a tweet today about how often the Wild have played from behind so far this season. So you can kind of see it there in the quote that they've trailed, I think, at the second highest total length of time to start the season. So 391 minutes and 31 seconds they've played from behind, which has been 46% of games they've played behind, a lot. And I like the one thing for me that really stuck out when Russo tweeted this out, I was like, I'm pretty sure that like a big reason for that could be like teams are scoring early in games. And that has been the case. If you look at their 7 losses, in 5 of the 8, that first goal has come within the first 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And then obviously over this past weekend, we saw Utah scores 3 times in the first 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
That was so crazy.
And my follow-up tweet, I tweeted this out too. In these games, 3 of them, the Wild have gone down 3-0, and in 5 of them, they've gone down 2-0. And so when you're digging this deep of a hole for yourself, 1 coming out of the gate, and then 2 making it worse by going down 2 rip, like we've seen in some of these games, like some good pushback late in games, but like it almost seems to me like they're not prepared or something. Like they're not mentally in it. It's the goalies, it's the players. Like it does feel like early and often they've been outplayed in these games. And like, I think if you can really point at something that they could focus on here as they try to right this ship is like how they start. Like they need to start fast and harder and not give up these early leads.
Yeah, it's a trend. And Utah was the worst. I would say last night had the same feeling, right? That wasn't 4, but still 2 ain't good. And God, and it's one of those things where it's like I empathize to a certain degree. Like I was that guy in college who did my best work when I left. You know, when I had some pressure, when I left it to like the deadline. But like, come on now, boys. Like this is getting too far.
Or especially a team like Winnipeg, where they've lost, I think after last night, it's now 9 straight losses to that team. And like a lot of the players on this team have been a part of every single one of those. So all of a sudden you go down 2-0 and you have to think maybe there's a mindset of like, oh God, here we go again. Like we're going to lose to these guys again. So,
and I mean, regular season Hellebuck is a monster, and he showed that. Like he was damn good.
Yeah. I will say, in last week's show, I talked about the Wild's puck luck, how they're getting some chances the pucks weren't going in, and then I called out in a thread before the game that Winnipeg's had kind of the opposite thing, where they've been getting a lot of good bounces, and it was nice to see that the Wild actually got some good bounces last night. Like we've seen them hit a lot of posts and like feeling like everything never ricochets in. They get kind of a debatable goalie interference on their first goal. They get Faber ricocheting one off the glass. And then I believe their third goal went in like off a skate after it was like a rebound. So they played a much better game last night. They got some puck luck, and then just Gus not able to slam the door late when it mattered. But I will say too, Brock Faber fell on the sword pretty hard, I think, after that Utah game. But he has been very good in 4 of the last 5 games. That Utah game, horrendous. But the other 4 outside of that, I think he's been their best defenseman. And I think now by both average and median score for defensemen, he is now in first place in the Wild Blue Line. So he's kind of emerged as now their best defenseman, which, he's being paid to be that. So nice to see that he's kind of, I think, maybe turned a little bit of a corner. I think he's been noticeable, I think, in other areas too. Like he seems to be faster. He seems to be more involved in the offensive zone. He's getting, I think he has 5 points in the last 3 games now, if memory serves correct. So after starting off, I think was 0 through the first, 8 games, I think that would have been. So nice to see him maybe turning a corner here. If you're maybe looking for an upside on this blue line, it's that, outside of one game, Faber's played much, much better as of late.
Well, and that's some future captain shit right there when he was like, listen, like, I am not good. I'm not putting the boys under the bus. Right? I am not good enough. I know I haven't been good enough. He was hard. Like after the 3-point game too, he was, because in that last play, right, he could have done a little bit more. And he was like, oh, it's my fault. We lost the game, whatever. And I was talking to Joe Smith, and I forget which one of his teammates, one of the players, like took him aside after the game and was like, listen, man, like, we're going to play hard the next game for you because this was not on you. Like you did everything you could. And that's future captain material right there. And it kind of comes full circle with us talking about, Spurgeon, and maybe, maybe there's a shift there on whose voice is now going to be the loudest in the room, or maybe this is just the type of guy that he is. Maybe he's not a leader, but he's someone who can lead by example. And furthermore, and when I met him and got to talk to him a little bit this summer, full interview is on the channel, by the way, so you can check it out. And when we asked him, like, what was your best memories of the Gophers? The first answer right away was like, my best memory was my worst memory, and that was losing the Natty. And he's like, I want to win. That's why I play hockey, to win. He's like, I have fun. And then he like gave a quirky smile. He's like, but I want to win. And I really liked that there is like a spark and a turnaround. Because when I was talking to Z on Monday on Judd's Buds, he was like, okay, I like to see that fire, but if it continues to go bad, then maybe his confidence is shot, and that's not a good thing either. But it seems to be going in the right direction.
Right. And I think to your point, like being that captain material, like not only did he fall on the sword, admit he had a bad game, now he's come out and played really well the next 2. Right. Like it'd be easy to like, still maybe play bad or maybe not have your best or be better. But like, I think he's been great. Like he's been a huge piece of why they've had legit chances in the last couple of games. 3 points against San Jose, created 2 goals last night. Been like a note, like I feel like that second power play unit starting to look like the Wild might have 2 units they can bounce back and forth. Like they're scoring. Like I remember previous seasons, I think we went like 31 power plays, I think, before someone on the second unit scored a goal. And I think that unit already this year probably has 3 or 4. And Faber's been a big part of that too. So yeah,
I mean, I love watching him play. I thought he deserved the Calder. I went from full heel on the Wild podcast verse saying that Robertson deserved the Calder over Kaprizov to then saying that Faber should have gotten the Calder over Bedard. So I feel like I redeemed myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Atoned for your sins.
There you go.
We talked a little about the goaltending, but just any other thoughts on just Gustafsson and Wallstedt? I think there was a really good point in chat here. Someone brought up like it'll feel like he's like, for Gustafsson specifically, would be like maybe locked in for seeming like 50 minutes of the game, and he just has this like 5-minute lapse where they put like 2-3 by him, and then he just lights out the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's been coming earlier. Just like it's been coming early when this team's kind of snoozing as well, right?
Yeah. And then like to that point, like he does lock in. Like last night, could have let that spiral. It was 2-0, but he comes in, holds down the fourth. The Wild get back in it, tie it, and then obviously a turnover in overtime, puck in net, game over. But that was a really good way to put it, because like I think I agree with the fact that like visually, like you can't. It's not like. It doesn't feel like he's playing bad. Like he's looked on a lot of nights. He's had tons of games with tons of big saves, but just a ton of shots, lapses, and it just seems to hit him in those moments. But
well, it goes back to like what we said in the opening segment. Like when 80% of the team is playing poorly, small lapses will burn you way more noticeable, and will burn you way worse than when it's just 20% of the team, struggling.
Yeah. So yeah,
But hey,
I think
they're playing an AHL team when the Vancouver Canucks come to town.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like straight up, 9 players from the Canucks are out, guys. Their top scorer in Garland right now, and their best defenseman in the league, Quinn Hughes, out as well. So
yeah. So and I'll be there tomorrow, so I'm hoping to see a good performance live. But yeah, let's see. Goaltending. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit was Kaprizov. Talk about some of that sloppy play in front of him. Like the turnovers to me are becoming an absolutely glaring issue. The past 2 games now, I think you could point directly to Kaprizov as, the San Jose game is a big reason they went to overtime, but he's also a big reason that game had to go to overtime. 2 egregious turnovers that led directly to San Jose goals. And then last night in overtime just kind of blindly throws a puck up the middle when the Wild have had complete control over overtime. That gets picked off, and 10, 15 seconds later, it's in the back of the net. And like, at what point, if you're John Hines, the coach, do you have to like discipline Kaprizov? I'm not saying like you healthy scratch him, but like you start a game off and he's got to sit for his first like 2-3 shifts. Like obviously a player physically don't want to ride the pine the whole game, but like to me, if Kaprizov can go out and make those plays, and a guy like Aziz Bouyam or Jiricek or a Yurov makes that mistake, like they don't see the ice probably the next game. Like they're probably scratched. Like what message does that send if you're, one of your supposed leaders can go out, be that careless with the puck, and like to the point now where like it is actively hurting the team. I just wonder if like you have to do something to maybe just have a little more accountability there, because they're a little bit out of control right now.
yeah, I mean, my immediate thought is no, especially when like he's the guy you have to win. He's your best chance to win. And yeah, he's causing some of this, but at least he's helping to make up for it as well. Yeah. If that is what speaks the loudest to him, again, I don't know Kirill Kaprizov. I don't know the dynamic as his coach. Like maybe a bag skate in practice. Like, hey, actually, everyone's going off here, but Mr. 128 million, like you're staying on the ice for a little bit. And we're either going to skate or you're going to shoot, like something just to show him that like, yeah, you're the superstar, but we can't bench you in a game to discipline you. So you're gonna have to do a little bit more cryotherapy to recover before the next game after this one. Like I don't know what sends the message, but I hope that the coaching staff is doing something to light that fire. I don't know what it is, and it could be something weird and wacky too. I mean, we hear these crazy hockey stories where it's like it's some crazy random thing off the ice, even that's or somebody's words, or I don't know. But
yeah, and I'm sure Kirill's just as pissed about these as the rest of the team. Like we know that guy's a winner, and I don't think he's naive enough to not believe. Like he knows both those turnovers in San Jose were on him. He knows he probably made a bad play last night in Winnipeg. Like
but I think you made a good point though. There's a difference between carelessness and like trying but messing up. So like when I think, and again, let's compare superstars. Like Sidney Crosby is not going to make those type of mistakes. Sidney Crosby is going to have the puck intercepted because someone read the play, or he's going to be knocked off the puck. He's not going to get his pocket picked, and he's not going to give it away like that grueling, right? You're not going to bench Sidney Crosby. You're going to just let him work it out and do his thing, right? Whereas Kaprizov, again, because there's a little bit of carelessness, which comes from I need to do maybe a little more because we're fucking losing. I think it's honestly, man, I think it's just a product of the domino effect of like something's got to give, and I'm just gonna like cheat a little bit here to, from a structure point of view.
Yeah, and I think
try to get something going, but yeah,
and I think when you know that you're a go-to offensive guy and your team's losing, and that they're looking for you to be that guy, like to this point here from Ezekiel, like you probably feel some of that pressure, maybe start making some plays that when you're not feeling that pressure that you usually don't make. So. We'll see. Like I think like Kaprizov will turn it around. Like obviously
he's still leading the team in points. Like
he's still producing, and so like I think, but just you would like to see something happen and maybe get a hold of those turnovers. And then my last thing, and I kind of want to talk about here, and I think in the midst of a 4-game losing streak in any sport in any market, you're going to start to feel that the coach might be getting on the hot seat here. But what are your thoughts? Like I did a poll. With people asked like how hot is John Hines' seat? I think I did like cold, lukewarm, hot, or like burning. I think, or like warm and hot or something. And it was like pretty much a 33% split for all the ones after cold. Like people are like, no, he's not safe. But like it was anywhere from that seat was lukewarm to it's getting pretty hot. Like where do you stand?
Well, last week we talked about this. Last week we talked about it, and I said it was still cold, but like give it another week or two, and that like I'm not talking little lighter, like we're torch lighter underneath that thing. So I think like if they do not win a game in the next 4, like on this homestead, then it goes from mildly lukewarm to like hot, because if the GM can't make a trade, again, something has to give, man. You can't just switch up the like a fourth liner. You can't just bring. I mean, maybe the answer. Mateo said this on the show on Monday. Maybe the answer that's not going to fix anything, but just like give maybe some of these young guys a chance now, because fuck it, what else is there to lose? Like give Ogren some top 6 minutes.
No kidding.
Give Yurov some more time. Like screw it, because let's be honest. I said 80% of the team aren't really like playing well right now. One guy who is, which just hurts my soul, and I'm sure the fan base just wants to ride, is Marcus Johansson. Agreed. Like when this team is playing horrendously, he's 4th in scoring and is actually like, yeah, I mean, there's obviously, I know you even tweeted what an egregious like non-hustle play from him. Like, of course, there's going to be some of that.
But again, it was after the Kaprizov turnover. So
yeah, but like he's been everything you want and more from an $800,000 player right now. It just sucks that it's just like, man, like this is an opportunity to bring some of these young guys up right now and just like give them a go as you dangle some guys in the trade market. I don't know. I don't have the answer on that front. But to go back to your original question, if they don't win the next in the next 4 games, I think we're talking about it because something has to be done. There's just so many layers to this team right now, because then it goes, okay, well, then that's another coach fired from the GM, and coaches don't want to, or GMs don't want to fire coaches because that reflects poorly on them. And then now then that makes Billy Guerin's seat a little bit warmer, and just like, so many fucking dominoes. Oh, yeah, it's hard to keep up with, Brett, right now. They just like winning solves everything. Just put together a couple wins and we'll all breathe.
Yeah. Well, I think to your point that Guerin's feeling the heat a little bit too. I think there was some interviews out there where they were like, people like, hey, like, are you looking at trades? And he's like, yeah, but it's 10 games into the season, and you know, we're trying to trade guys, but we don't think they've had their best stuff in the first 10 games. And you know, if a guy we want's had a great start, their teams are overvaluing that guy high. So it's like, it's hard to make deals right now. And so like, I think in that sense, like a lot of times I think I had this conversation with someone on Twitter, and that like, as a GM, or maybe as you and I on this show, I can't remember, but as a GM, I think it was like, us last week. Yeah. You either have to make a trade or you have to make a coaching change to like save your skin. Like those are your 2 options. Like, and it probably makes sense. I think it was your point. Now that it's kind of coming back to me, like the trade makes sense to happen first, because then you can kind of save the coach in the process and maybe make your team better. But
that's if there's a market, and if
right
now
there's not.
Yeah, and the Wild, like sometimes you need to make a 3rd line and 4th line just like hockey trade. Like sometimes that is needed. We've seen that in the past. We've seen those type of guys help in Stanley Cup runs, but that is not what this team needs right now. They need someone who can shoot the puck and score. Let's be honest, like quite frankly, like,
and every team out there wants that guy. So
exactly,
yeah. So I think I'm in the warm category at this point. Like I think it's a little past lukewarm, but like I think it could still potentially be warm for a little while.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's hot right now, because I see Hoptics make some good points. I'm not saying it's hot right now, but if they do not win at home, then I think somebody in management is at least looking at who's available.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't think they've even looked yet, but I think if they lose this homestead, they are looking at who's available right now to coach this team for the rest of the season.
A lot of fans obviously clamoring for DeBoer, but like Hines, I think, still has a pretty good chunk of his contract that would have to be paid. And I think like there's some stuff that like the Wild have to pick up, like DeBoer's old contract, or they have to pay him, and like he would probably have to be paid at least this much. So, like it's an expensive decision for the owner as well. So like the GM's got to get that approval to make those changes as well. And yeah, to your point, like what if if fans want Pete DeBoer, what if Pete DeBoer doesn't want to coach here? You know, and like I think we talked about. It's
gonna be torts, dude. It's gonna be torts for 2 years until Kaprizov says, "Get him the fuck out, Billy. I can't do this Gabrick shit."
Yeah, but I think too, like you look at like there's pretty well known that DeBoer like tends to lose his locker room somewhere down the road. So but he's led his teams deep in the playoffs. So you have to kind of weigh.
DeBoer is an old school guy like Torts as well, just not as vocal to the media and to the refs and getting fined.
But if you're Garrett, and like obviously we talked about the culture of this team, like that's a decision I think even beyond money that you have to. What kind of coach are we going to bring in here? And has the room been lost from a passion point of view, like Optics brought up, like you did with Evison, or is it just like the X's and O's aren't working? And sorry, like we like playing for you, but it's not working. Yeah. Well, and if you're trying to lure in free agents and there's players, that are like, hey, if they're between the Wild and their final team and like, hey, I can go play for this guy, or I gotta go play for Pete DeBoer. I don't know, like things like that. I think can matter too. So
yeah, and again, we'll stop speculating now, and we'll see how the next week plays out. But if they don't win by the next podcast, Brett, we have to bring at least 3 names. That's our homework. We got to bring 3 names.
Someone has Capuano on here, and like I think that'd be like one of the worst decisions. I believe he's the guy coaching the blue line right now, and that's one of the biggest issues. So I would. I
mean, there might be a placeholder, but I feel like if it's this early in the season, you're just bringing a new guy in, and you're just
you probably have figured out. You'd think.
Yeah, even if it's like
bring back Bruce,
dude. Oh my god, like if
just for the sound bites.
For the sound bites, and like I know he's getting up there in age, but like I think there's Bruce. I mean, look what he did with the Canucks after taking 2-3 years off, right? Like he didn't lose the players, and honestly, the team wasn't that bad. It was just when you're getting fired, it's tough to. I think even for a coach, it's tough to
for sure
bring.
Yeah. Well, that's like I think like not to stray too much from hockey, but like the Twins just hired a new manager today, and I'm like, I feel bad for that guy. Like you have to manage a team that is like about to crater into the earth. Like you basically are going to go down with the ship, and when the ship starts to get right, they're going to kick you out and bring in someone who can.
You're there to write on your resume. I was a manager for an MLB team.
When there was like talks of like, you're probably not a huge like Twins fan or anything, but like some like Twins legends like Torrey Hunter, who was like one of their most like well-liked players in team history. I'm like, no, do not make a former player take over this team right now. And like, dude,
the Canucks did it with Trevor Linden. They did it with Trevor Linden. They made him president, and then the owner and GM pushed him out, fired him, and left him like literally like hanging in front of the fans. Like at one point, he went on the radio and was like, "They're like, so what are your day-to-day jobs now, Trevor Linden?" He's like, "Honestly, they don't let me in the meetings, and I'm the guy who puts the towels on the chairs." And there was a picture in like the province, was like BC's big newspaper, and it's like Trevor Linden, like one of the leading all-time point getters for Vancouver Canucks history, president, and he's literally putting towels on the chair, dude.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe his Fleury want to fucking coach. Let's get.
God.
I think he'd rather be in management, but yeah. So that's all we got. At least that's all I got. Is there anything else?
No, I think expect a couple goals from Kiefer in the Canucks game, but that's probably about it. Like I said, the Wild lose in that one. Like guys, again, I'm the resident Canadian. Grew up in British Columbia. I bleed blue and green, but like if the Canucks win that game, oh man, like. It's tough sledding for this Wild team.
Yeah, I mean,
because that should be a layup.
Yeah, and they've got Pittsburgh tomorrow, as we talked about. They're off to a really good start, but still, I think is a beatable team if the Wild play the right way. And then,
especially with that injury to Raquel, who's been on a crazy, start as well.
Yep. And then they have the lowly injured Canucks in here on Saturday, and then wrap up the homestand against Nashville, who we just talked about is going to be without Roman Josi, which means the Wild actually probably have a chance to win that one, because much like Macklin Celebrini, that guy is a wild killer. Like, I feel like Josi, like Macklin Celebrini, I think, like, I would like to know the total points between him and Kaprizov since Celebrini came into the league, because they, I think, each have like 3-point games every time they play each other. Like,
dude, he's so good. I am so stoked he's Canadian.
Yeah, like I wonder, like you look at the start he's off to, as if you're Canada, like I think you at least have to think about it.
Oh, dude, I think it's more than just. I mean, I don't fucking trust Hockey Canada at all to make any decisions, any right decisions when building a team. They're lucky that on the men's level they just have so many superstars that like it's gonna be probably a good team regardless, especially with like Sid there still, his last hoorah probably with them. But I think 100% you bring him even as like, one of the extras, because There's always injuries, man. I mean, John Tavares broke his leg in Sochi. Broke his leg. So
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So I think there's a lot of decisions kind of like that. Like Jake Sanderson, I think, off to maybe a slower start for Ottawa. Obviously, Faber, I think, has maybe at times looked maybe not worthy of an Olympic spot this season. If he plays like he has the last 5 games, he's a no doubter. But yeah, like I'm curious to see, like, because there obviously, I think there will be some differences from the Four Nations rosters. Like, I don't think Clayton Keller, given the US's power play issues, like I think he'll be on the roster. Like, I think you maybe want some more size and power play help with a guy like Tage Thompson. I bet you he's there. Maybe some of those guys like Kreider and stuff who we all thought, or Brock Nelson, some of those guys like probably won't be there, but we'll see. And I know Canada's got some similar decisions to make, and I think theirs will especially be on the blue line there as well.
yeah, and God, let's just hope Bennington hits lightning in a bottle again, because I'm terrified, dude. I'm actually now I have so many friends up in Canada who are like, oh, dude, you should turn goalies. They're different when it comes to tournaments, and some guys can just dial it in for short term and just can't put together for a season. I'm like, I know that, but that's so unpredictable. I don't want to bank on that, dude.
Hey, I want to pull up Jordan Binnington's because I know they're not good.
No, they're horrible, but they were horrible last year, and he won that much shorter Four Nations tournament.
Hang on.
Kyle Connor, another wild killer. He scored the OT goal last night, right?
Yes, he did.
A quick one, too.
Why?
You blinked and you could have missed it.
Yeah, it was kind of a funky shot. I'm trying to find the Binnington stats, but it's not working.
Man, talk about one of the most lopsided trades in NHL history. It was for Martin Erat, or was it? Yeah, was it Martin Erat for Philip Forsberg?
Yes, that sounds correct.
And then it was Erat's last 40-point season, and then he absolutely just tanked to the Capitals, retired 2 years or something like that. Yeah, Martin Erat. I mean, I liked Erat when he played for the Preds. God,
yeah,
I can't even say the Preds anymore without thinking of fucking the chances. They ruined it.
I don't know. Something's fucked up on natural stat trick, so I can't see Binnington's stats. I can only see a game
That's
log.
okay. I don't want to hear him right now anyways. I'm good.
I'll go to game log.
They're probably bad because the Blues are bad. And I thought the Blues would be a little bit better to start the year, to be honest. But
allowed 3 or more goals in 4 of 8 starts. I think he's been pulled once. Or maybe that was, or came in relief, could be either or. But let's see. Expected goals against. Yeah, this does not look great.
No.
But Logan Thompson, maybe they rethink bringing him this time.
I mean, I think you're allowed to bring 4.
Yeah.
Dress 2, and you have 1 on reserve, right?
So I couldn't believe he was left off last year. That was one that really surprised me.
Yeah. Mostly, I mean, that's what the preliminary ones are for a lot of the time, especially if you have questions in goaltender. I mean, it's just I was just so spoiled growing up. It was oh, do we have Luongo or Carey Price or Fleury or Brodeur? Are you kidding me? We never even I never even had to worry about it. It was oh, our third one's Luongo, who won gold, right?
That's kind of where the US is at now. We got Ottinger and Hellebuck, and it was Swayman. He's fallen off a little bit, but
Demko's having a good year too. So, and he's been
right. They left Demko at home. He'd be the starter on Team Canada. So,
dude, I'd say US Russia's, and again, Russia's not going to be there. But if we're just talking international, Russia's probably the deepest. They just always are. Yeah, I'd say the States
they would
right
have
now.
They'd have Sorokin, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Askarov, Bobrovsky.
It's stupid. Yeah, and dude, who even gets the start? You don't.
Shesterkin, I think. Oh, it'd be Shesterkin or Vasilevsky. Oh man,
that's what I'm saying. That would be so tough. States is right there. Finland, they usually have their guys, but they just always have good goaltending. My favorites is to see the random ass like Swiss. Is there a Jonas Hiller out there, creeping, who just absolutely dominates an international play? I remember Latvia always brought in some just tank who saves 60 out of 65 or whatever.
Wasn't that Oh no, Levi, he was Slovakian, like the Wild's minor league guy.
Yep.
Okay, I want to see who.
Dude, I'm so stoked. Was it like how many days till the Olympics?
Yeah.
It's like it's like 2.5 months.
Something like that, yeah. So the Switzerland goalies are all like playing in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Sandro Eichlemann playing in HC Davos, Stefan Charlin playing for the SCL Tigers, and Leonardo Giannoni playing for EV Zug.
Bro, you
Who
know
is-
he's
Who is
like
purportedly the clear number one? Guess how old he is?
37.
He's 37 years old.
Yeah, dude, European hockey, baby. Let's go.
In the 2025 Worlds, had a .99 goals against and 953 save percentage in 424 and a half minutes and was voted tournament MVP.
Dude, let's go, baby. He sounds more Italian than he is Swiss too. So
Yeah. He has that like Spacek like elevated like international competition. I am a god. But,
dude. Well, they care about that shit, right? Like when
Oh, yeah,
Finland
it's
won,
huge.
not even the like if Finland won the Olympics, dude, like the streets would be trashed. in,
Mikhail
like, the biggest
Granlund's like
party
a
ever.
national hero there because of the World Juniors.
Dude, when they won the world championship, I want to say it was like 4 years ago.
Or was it? It was. I think Granlund scored like the game winner in that. Or
Yeah,
something. They have like Mikhail Granlund Day in Finland now. I think like
dude,
it's something crazy.
they were I think like the bigger cities were granted like a license from the government to stay for the bars and liquor stores to stay open until 6 a.m. and they ended up closing at like 4:30 because they ran out of booze in the liquor stores and on tap. And they said people were just sleeping outside. Like everyone, it was like the whole city was just tanked and everyone just like partied and like just like passed out in the middle of the road. And the city like shut down for like 2 hours in the morning.
That's terrific. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it is really cool when those smaller countries, like obviously Finland's like a hockey powerhouse, but they're still a smaller country and just like
Yeah. Well, like when Slovakia and Czech do well too, like.
oh yeah, like it's huge.
Yeah, I remember there's a Czech UFC fighter who won the belt, and he went back and he said like 500 or 400,000 people showed up for like a parade, and he like it blew his mind. He was like, I couldn't believe it. And then someone asked him like, oh, are you like bigger than Jaromir Jagr? And he's like, he's like, bro, Jaromir Jagr doesn't even know who I am. That's how big he is.
Yeah, what is I'm trying to remember. Like you were talking about the small countries, and I just had like another random thought. Oh, Denmark, when they had so there's a Wild fan, some of you may know there. He goes by Franz, who's a Wild fan out in Denmark. And I remember, I think like they won. Did they win it this year? The World Championships, I think.
I don't know.
Or maybe it was like a big World Juniors upset or something. But this was like a couple of years back. Like they had a really big international win, and I think I remember like. Because there's all the discourse always like, and there was always like, oh, this is why the smaller countries should be invited to these events. And it shouldn't just be the powerhouses. And there's always people like, no, it should always be the powerhouses. Like, it doesn't matter. No one wants to see Latvia get blown out next time, blah, blah, blah. And
Latvia beat Canada, by the way. Just want to tell everyone.
Well, like, and I think when Denmark had like a big international win, I remember like seeing stuff from, I think it was Franz about like, you know, youth hockey enrollment increased like 200% after like that win. Like it does, like you don't think it does, but like the impact it has countrywide in the smaller country is sweet. So
well, dude, I will always remember this. So when I was in college, I lived like a 10-minute walk from where the WHL team played, like really close to downtown, and that's where like Group B was for the World Juniors, and that's where like the US team was, because obviously they're gonna have the Rogers Arena where the Canucks for Canada. But it was so easy for me to get in the door for like Kazakhstan versus, you know, Slovakia or whatever. Like those games were like, I could get in the second period for like $10 or $5, whatever. So I went to a ton of Kazakhstan games. And what was so cool, they didn't score a goal until the last game, but because of that, everybody, like they would sell out arena versus like Slovak and Czech, which is a good matchup, wouldn't sell out like I think it was like 6,000, but Kazakhstan would, because everyone went there just cheer them to get a goal throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
All the merch,
I remember that.
all the merch sold out. The kids are crying. And when they played their last game in the round robin against the States, it was like 8-0. Third period, they score one, and the crowd just went nuts. And I remember one kid was like, he spoke English and he was interviewed by TSN. And he's like in tears. He's like, I called my mom and she's like watching, being like, who are these people? Like, are these Kazakhstanis in Canada? And they're like, no, they're just like random people who are just like cheering for us. And it was cool. So like, just something to stem off what you said there. Like, no, we need.
Well, and like that'll be the biggest hockey moment for a lot of these players that they'll ever have in their life.
When the kids watching are like, okay, maybe I can score a goal against the Americans or Canadians or these big teams. Sure.
Yeah.
So I fucking love the World Juniors. I'm so stoked for it to be the appetizer to the Olympics. I mean, look, we had like 20 extra minutes in the show.
And to have it in our backyard on top of that.
Oh, dude, I know.
I have some PTO days banked. My dad and I have been like, because I cannot afford that, whatever, like the $1,500 like full tournament ticket pack. So we're just like patiently waiting for like single game tickets to like go on sale. Like I think some of them have, but it's like they're only doing lower bowl right now still. So like I'm waiting for the single game upper bowl. Hopefully
you'll find some for reasonable, and dude, the experiences. I mean, I went to Vancouver, Czech, and I had great tickets, but like my girlfriend at the time bought the tickets, so I didn't have to pay a dime. But like I would say I would have paid what the price was for us to go anyways, because it's just that.
I definitely
much of an experience.
We'll find some time to get out there. So
and meeting Bob McKenzie is always the highlight, as he literally stayed for like half an hour after just to like shake hands and kiss babies.
Perhaps maybe like a live from the World Juniors podcast from the Sota Pod at some point.
I mean,
kind of sick.
We are sponsored by Zambonis. We could probably get something going.
Could be kind of dope. Do like a live show at Zambonis before a game. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, hopefully I get my friggin' press pass for that one. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe we'll get Spoke Z out for that too.
I'd say maybe. Yeah, I mean, you guys happen to know a guy who could maybe help with that. So
yeah. All right. That's all we got, guys.
So 3 games before we'll be back. I think it looks like next week, Wednesday, should probably work again. So we'll plan to see you guys then. And hopefully we're talking about at least 2 wins and not at least 2 losses.
Yeah, let's hope Heinz's seat is not on fire. Good night.